Уважаемые участники, а мы возвращаемся в наш эфир, и следующее выступление, оно мое.
I would like to welcome you in our next session. I'm going to be the keynote speaker. I will elaborate on creating very effective IRP based upon in-a-stage product. NextStage IRP, it's called. The number of cybercrimes with commercial and governmental institutions, together with the new legislation in the Russian Federation for cybersecurity and close attention of the regulations, require quite a lot of effort in addressing the incidents, evaluating the state of the IT infrastructure, as well as managing the risks of IT security, for automation of these processes, for monitoring, for neutralization of such cybercrime incidents. We recommend using the IRP system mentioned, which functionality can be served in the monitoring centers for information security. We will consider it with the example of NextStage IRP developed by NextStage, as I mentioned previously. NextStage IRP addresses the key tasks for monitoring experts. Globally, you can see these tasks on your screens in my presentation. What are these things? Inventorization of the IT assets and managing the incidents. As we do the inventory analysis and as we manage the assets, we know that the functions and the functionality of the product allows us to do it before the cybercrime incident actually occurs. With big vertically integrated teams, however, there may be a difficulty identifying such items. Therefore, the monitoring experts will have to have sufficient information about the defense before the incident actually occurs. And the functionality of this whole system is targeted at having the uniform database of the target assets, like the organization chart of the company, the list of technical means and the software solutions. This particular task also addresses the passports of the devices and information systems. The next task, which relates to addressing the incidents, it can be resolved by arranging the work upon NextStage IRP as a platform which synchronizes the efforts in terms of reacting to the incidents and neutralizing them. Therefore, NextStage IRP functionality allows us to synchronize and have proper synergy of different experts from different groups in order to very efficiently investigate and resolve the cybersecurity incidents. NextStage IRP is to investigate, identify, and eliminate such incidents by adjusting and improving the existing elements of the IT infrastructure. For example, blocking the ports at the firewall is one of the examples. As far as we can see, here's the automation of the IT assets. This particular slide depicts the integration which NextStage IRP allows us to fulfill. Integration may occur with the external systems, the list of which you can see on the screens, the CMDB bases or inventory solutions, as well as the use of the second approach, the embedded inventory scanner. It's a lightweight solution, and by scanning the IP network, it identifies new hosts with their features, etc. scanning does not put heavy load on the IT infrastructure. Number 3, and it's mandatory, the ongoing enrichment of your data about the protection X asset, pulling it out of different sources of information and making adjustments, changing the fields, whatever, doing it manually as we gather the information and implement adjustments. And here I would like to show you a kind of a slide which is dedicated to NextStage security platform. Yet I would like to mention the NextStage IRP as a product is put upon the platform which is called NextStage security platform, just like other solutions that you can hear. All of the products of NextStage IRP are embedded in the company's infrastructure, and they are integrated with the inventory systems and the data acquisition systems. Therefore, this integration with such systems automates a number of tasks carried out by experts. The experts' roles are put on the left-hand side of the screen. They are the managers, top managers, and IT specialists. Top managers can also keep their finger on the pulse in terms of cybersecurity conditions in the company. On the right-hand side, you can see the integration with the existing services of the IT block. As we mentioned previously, that's the integration with the CMDB's integration with the service desk, etc., etc. And now we would like to switch to the actual demo of NextStage IRP and the incident management. I'm showing you the web interface of this whole system. Here is the list of the incidents automatically registered in the system. Let's just try and drill down and see what they're all about. Here's the example of the malicious object, hash. This is the platform for monitoring the information security. The task here is to automate the work to neutralize such incidents. The IRP system has a connector which is embedded in it. Not the connector, I'm sorry, it's got the editor which is embedded, and this editor allows us to launch scenarios and scripts in these scenarios and in these blocks, reaction scripts to defend the information protected in the whole system. For example, let's just simulate one instance. The frontline employee gathers the legitimacy of the incident. First and foremost, they will have to verify the attributes on when the incidents actually occurred, when it was verified, when it was revealed. And the frontline expert, like I said in my presentation, gathering these data about IT assets using CMDB, has already got some information pulled up with the host attached to it. For example, we can see it here. That's the workstation name, the workstation's name, and the actual main user of that particular computer. Here's another tab, which we called compromise indicators. With the integration to the platforms, we automatically gather the data about malicious software, about the malware. If we drill down that link, we'll see, yes, that's malware. And here is the verification of the malware and the whole list of incidents related to this particular malware activities. Then the frontline expert goes back and they can test and verify additionally what this particular object is all about. If you go back to the first tab in the drill down mode, we can drill down these statistics tab where we can see the actual name of the IT asset compromised and the list of incidents. You can see, for example, the antivirus update error, entry, malicious entry, etc., etc. So this particular subject has been causing incidents in the system for a long time. Then if you would like to learn about what this particular workstation looks like, we can drill down and see it. In the first place, we are showing you this example and we would like you to focus on that. That's the focus of this whole CMDB. So when such incident arises, the monitoring experts will be equipped with all of the information about that particular incident. So even before that particular incident occurs, once we've drilled down the representation of the asset, we can see all of the credentials related, and we can see how this information has been pulled up and its performance, its technical features, and more importantly, we can see how it's connected and related to other assets. For example, this workstation has access to 1C enterprise, and this is a critical it's a critical consideration. If we move to the tabs on the right, we can see the list of the software which has been installed here. On the right-hand side, you can see the technical support and which items this workstation is connected to. Once we've gathered this information and confirmed that this particular workstation is a critical one, they can run following steps as a part of this scenario. So what else can a frontline expert see? They can actually identify how exactly this event was revealed and registered as an incident, and what was the source of this incident. This particular example relates to typical incidents that can be related to some standard defense objects. If we really put quite a lot of effort analyzing each particular incident separately, we'd be spending too much time and wasting our effort. In order to minimize the effort spent and for more rational purposes, we assume that there should be an ability to compress all of these incidents into one group if they are interrelated or if they are similar by showing the compromise indicators. We put certain marks that this could be a parent incident, it could be a branched incident, but anyway, they are all related, and you can group them together and apply adjustments to all of them, to all of the similar incidents, and apply a firewall rule in your antivirus, for instance. So once we've done this first thing, we confirm that this incident did happen, and we start the following procedures as a part of our quest. We left click no here and input some additional information if necessary. Right now we are supposed to be launched to the next stage, which is entitled hash input into a stop list. So what about this stop list? This frontline expert can put this hash into a stop list to completely block this malware, and this malware would not be able to spread in your IT infrastructure. Actually, the employees that are in the back office, those are in the second line and the third line, those who have some rights and are authorized to make adjustments to the target system, are not available, and this work can stop, because you know that people work 8 hours per day and they work 5 days a week, but there may be some holidays and weekends, but we know that this incident may arise anytime, any day, 24/7. Therefore, we consider that, and we need to make sure that such access rights can be delegated to the front line, to the first line expert. And we use orchestration for that. Orchestration allows us to do away with the redundancy in NextStage IRP. Orchestration is administered by IT specialists. IT specialists in their department have their own login procedure to whom these rights have been delegated, which was their role, and what were the changes introduced to the IT infrastructure. That's the approach, and this approach will have to help us comply with the standards and separate the responsibilities. I'm going back to showing my incident. I would like to launch this script, and this is the script on how it's going to react, and it's going to send this to the antivirus, and this file will be blocked at the end host. And I would like to show you an example of how this blocking has already worked in the host where this particular incident has been identified. Right now you can see on your screens the emulator. The emulator we considered previously. We emulate the host and we try and attempt to open the suspicious malware file. We can see the pop-up window here, access denied. We can see the description and reasoning why the launch of that particular file is not allowed. And you can actually send right here from this window a request to double check the incident and let this file be opened and permitted in the system if it's no longer considered malicious by the company rules. I've gone back to the NextStage IRP, and I'm showing you the second line of defense employee who would have to run this investigation with his due competence and experience and log it. The results are automatically registered, as far as you can see here. In the tab on the right hand side, we can see the date, the initial date when it was all started, when it was worked with and completed. The frontline expert, the frontline employee, can add some additional files like tracers, whatever. They can get into more detail explaining how they investigated that incident. Right now, I would like to show you the screen, which demonstrates a second line of defense account. We can see a list of the information security incidents, and the resolved incidents will be seen here in the list. For example, what are we supposed to do in accordance with our credentials? The second line of defense expert can either send this malware to a sandbox. They can do multiple things. All of these activities can be done from one single access window. Specific scripts can be launched here in order to tackle and verify and complete this whole investigation. I would like to mark the time it has taken us to investigate the incident here and add some description here. For example, we verified that this incident had occurred due to the infected USB stick. That's an example. An infected USB stick. For example, after that, you see that you will have to inform the manager of your department, but we've already put it in the system. We'll have to report it to the administrator of the system. This report can be generated here in this, on this web page. As far as we can see, it's automatically generated. All of the data has been put in a file. That incident that we have just covered in this minor quest of ours is going to be reported, and the status of the resolution of this incident will also be reported by sending these messages by emails. On the right-hand side, you can see an editor, which allows you to edit the text in the fields. And on the left-hand side, you can select all of the fields to whom you would like to send this file, and you'll be adding the files and the tracers, etc. Once you have notified those who are those to whom it may concern. You can complete it registering the time it has taken us to resolve that and comment on that the results of the investigation have been sent to the management. Now this is going to be a closed incident. That's how we close this whole investigation. This incident could have been closed inappropriately. Assume that it may also happen that during the course of that investigation there would have been some issues. Therefore, we assume that we can reopen this incident by the people who can address this repeatedly. Now we are going back from the front line and consider an example of an incident and a certain scenario more in detail. For example, the detection of the malicious hash objects. Scenarios can be very variable. Then they can coincide with some fields. There can be logical resemblance, yes, no, and so forth. We have the embedded editor in the system. By clicking on the blocks, we can drill down and add some more activities there if necessary. For example, if you would like to have an individual SLA here, we can also point out the conditions on which the script was launched and put a timeline during which this incident was actually addressed. On the right-hand side, you can see the conditions on launching that script, and you can also see some possibility of not opening the task and not close the task automatically after removing the incident. After the investigation, after a thorough analysis, certain changes should be introduced into the official documentation of the company. Therefore, if you do not tick it here, you can complete it at a later stage once the experts and someone else inputs the necessary changes, etc. In the end, we can see that people will see the list of their tasks in the task section, and you can see not just the complete number of tasks, but also their status and the deadlines by which they would have to be resolved. These deadlines can be arranged and in scenarios which we have recently considered, and they can also be addressed individually. And one final block of ours is going to be a story about more detailed reports about what we have, what kind of incidents we may be addressing at certain moments in time. And I'm going to show you some examples. These detailed reports are quite big and sizable. You can see those automated ones, manual ones, registered manually and in the automatic way. You can see the time it took to react to that incident, whatever. All of the criteria that you will have to use to match your KPIs. We are coming up with the BI system as well to help you visualize all these things. It's a part of NextStage IRP solution, which allows you to visualize your approach you have here to make a representation of your assets in terms of cyber security status. According to our experience, we have decided to divide them into different levels, like strategic level and operational level. As the operational level is concerned, on this you will see not only the number of incidents and their status, but you will also see the deadlines, the SLAs, the opportunity to see for those companies with big subsidiaries across Russia. For example, in their subsidiaries, they may be having their own sites, and the map is also available here. On the map, you will be able to see the reports on how these cybersecurity activities are carried out all across the board. You can also see the names of the individuals that are often mentioned that are related to these incidents, and also those who react to the incidents and investigate them. The IRP topic is, of course, a very big one, a sizable topic. And of course, I cannot squeeze this whole story into a small presentation of mine. I'd be delighted to take your questions, if any. For more questions, I suggest that you contact with me and we'll show it to you. My experience proves that normally it would take 2 hours, almost 2 hours for the more detailed description of this whole system. Please contact me if you are interested. And right now, I may be taking your current questions. And I'll be waiting for you for the next 5 minutes. Those of you who would like to input your questions in our chat so that I'll just take them and reply. Thank you. Standing by.